It's another beautiful day here in the Shire, and long before Renee ever picked up a skillet, there was a 10-year-old girl in South Carolina standing in a farmhouse kitchen, figuring out how to feed a family. She didn't choose to become the cook. She had to, and what started out of necessity became something remarkable. This time, Renee's making
South Carolina Southern fried chicken. I learned to make fried chicken from my grandmother in South Carolina. She became the cook for her family at the age of 10 after her mother died. While the others worked the peanut farm, she taught herself how to cook. I watched her make it dozens of times. And when I started making it myself, I had to figure out how to turn that into something that I could repeat. And today, I'll show you exactly how to make it. First step, we are going to make a little bit of a spice packet thing. You do not have to add any spices to this. Sometimes I make it with just plain, but this adds a nice little flavor. So I've got some pepper, some garlic powder, oregano, paprika, that gives it some color, and a little bit of cayenne pepper. And it doesn't make this hot. I've got this dialed down so that it's just a little bit of a flavor, but it's not going to burn your mouth or anything. There. And we are going to give that a quick stir. Okay. And there it is. And now the next thing we're going to do is I've got some buttermilk here and I've got some chicken. The only thing I've done to this chicken is I dried it with a paper towel as I put it in the bowl. Most people at this point take the buttermilk and mix it in with the spice and then put it in with the chicken. And then you put it in this baggie. I don't do that. I just start in the baggie. So I'm going to put the chicken pieces in here. I make a mess when I try to dump this into here, so I gave up long ago. So I'm putting it in here. I'm going to take my spice mix. Yeah, this is good. I'm just going to put it all in. And then we're going to put 2 tablespoons of salt. And we're going to mix that together. And then I'm going to mix this milk in with that. This is buttermilk. Oh, I said that. Oh, that smells really good. We're going to make sure that's mixed in really well. And we're brining this chicken today. And then we're going to take this and we're going to pour this into our chicken. That looks good. Okay. And we are then going to mix this all together. And we're just going to get that all mixed in. And then we are going to put this in the refrigerator, and you can put this in for 2 to 4 hours or overnight. And every once in a while, you want to go to your refrigerator and turn your bag over and squish it again. And that's all there is to brining chicken. And it does make the most amazingly tender chicken. The salt in there is breaking that chicken down and infusing it with salt and those spices. And it is so good. Yum. Okay.
That buttermilk works slow and deep. It wakes the flavor while you sleep. So cold, fried, that's how it's done. No shortcut.
Okay, we will be back. I'm wondering if any of you have a favorite family fried chicken memory. If you do, let me know in the comments below. Did your grandmother or your aunt or your mom make the best fried chicken? What did they use for a pan? all the details would be wonderful to read, and I'd love to hear your memories. I'm gonna go get the chicken now.
Say so cold, try, hold the line. You don't need a clock when you know the sign.
This has been in the oven for probably 6 hours. And like I said, you can leave it overnight and do it in the morning. I am going to put this in a bowl. You can use this brine to dredge with. So all of those flavors in there are going to come through. So I've got just plain flour here. I don't want to put any more spices because this has quite a bit of flavor and I don't want to over salt this or anything. So you can put a little bit of the brine in here to get those craggly edges. I'm just going to do it the way my grandmother showed me how to do it. Her fried chicken was the best on the planet. So I'm just going to take this, let this drip, and this is going to get in there eventually anyway. And so I'm going to take this and just coat it in the flour. We're going to squish this down so that it's stuck to the chicken really well. And we're going to pick that up and put that right over there. See the scragglies coming out there now that this is this is getting wetter in the flour. And putting this on the cookie sheet just lets it sit and adhere to that chicken. Oh, I think we're just gonna have enough flour here. Sometimes I don't get enough in there. Okay, we're gonna sit this piece on the counter and then we're gonna clean up our station. Wash our hands. So this is what you do when you're frying. You're constantly playing with the knob. When I put this chicken in, it's going to drop the temperature and I want this to come back up to the 350, but just expect that, but just keep playing with the knob. So I had turned it down to low. I'm turning it back up to medium, and we're going to put a couple of pieces in. Now you have to be very careful with this. It's very hot. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that piece of chicken and I'm just going to put it in and put my hand over that way. And that's one, and that's a perfect bubble. And I'm going to put another piece in. And I think I'll leave it at 2 for now. See how it's dropping? That's okay. We're gonna watch those bubbles, and I'm just gonna turn it up and make sure. So now it's going down, it's gonna come back up. If you don't have this temperature at the right place when you start, it's going to immediately absorb all of that oil and it's gonna be too greasy. Okay, I'm turning this over and just letting it cook. And every once in a while I flip this over. You don't want to touch. Look how craggly and delicious that looks. Our temperature is going back up now. For thighs this size, it probably takes about 15 minutes to cook through. I do use a thermometer for the internal temperature to get to 165 at a minimum. Okay, so these look like they're done. So I'm going to take these out. I'll give them a final temp. And then I'll let this get back up to temp before we put the next batch in. And so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to give that a check. And that's 165. And that is 165, and it's still going to go up. Once this gets to 350, we're going to put a couple of more pieces in, and then we're going to try it.
Renee's cooking off the rest, and apparently we're not allowed to eat any. So we're just going to stand here, in a kitchen that smells like golden crusted heaven, staring at a tray we can't touch. Now I know how the dog feels. Be right back. We're back. and Renee's finally going to give it a try. I've got my paper towels ready and my sweet tea on standby. Now let's see if she makes that face. The one that means it's real good.
Okay, so here's our fried chicken. As you can see, this has scraggly pieces that came from just working with the flour in our hands. This piece right here is just crunchy, all crunchy. And this smells divine. I'm going to take, we can always be polite and use a fork, but I'm just going to take a bite of this and see how it turned out. Oh, I could just, this is delicious. This coating is crunchy. I don't know if you can hear it. It's so crunchy and it's not falling off of the chicken. It's completely adhered to the chicken. So here is a piece of chicken that is, you can see it's all juicy and oh, it's so good. Crunch, crunch. This is so good. I think my grandmother would be so pleased because she could keep the coating on there. It looks like hers. I've added a little bit of spice that she didn't add. She didn't add anything. She just did, cream or milk and flour and salt. And it was delicious. And sometimes I cook it like that. But this absolutely brings back all of the times I stood beside her and watched her make this. Such a nice memory. I hope you enjoy this. Thank you.
Ready for seconds? Don't put your spoon down yet. Tap this video and Renee will meet you there.
Mama taught it hand to hand. Now you cook like you understand.